You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
Welcome to the Hot Options Report, your premier source for insight into the fast-moving options market. Each day, we'll track down the products that are dominating the options chains and impacting your trading account, from Nvidia to VIX and everything in between. If it's lighting up the options tape, then you'll find it on the Hot Options Report.
All right, everybody, that music means we are back. It is Thursday. It is after the closing bell. That means it is time once again for your Hot Options Report, coming at you today, Thursday, October 30th. So Mischief Night, Halloween Eve, if you will, out there, listeners. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com, reminding you, make sure you subscribe to the full network wherever you're getting your favorite podcasts. And, of course, if you want to join us for the official after party of Volatility Views, you want to get your name in the hat. Tomorrow's the last day for the October Pro Trading Crate, live streams, giveaways. I tell that our buddy Mr. Overby has another actionable trade idea. It's going to go up to the pro members first. Where you get all that good stuff? TheOptionsInsider.com/pro is the place to go. As we kick things off on the show here in VIX land, VIX, quite the range out there today at the end of the day. Ranged all the way up to almost 17.5 before finishing the day slightly unched, which is kind of interesting out there. A little bit shy of the 17 handle, 1691. Of course, a lot of spice being added into the mix out there today on the heels of trade war news, as well as, of course, earnings news. We'll get to all that fun in a little bit. But VIX looking spicy today, maybe not movement-wise net, but, of course, on the volume front, it was a spicy day for VIX as well. 927,000 contracts changing hands in VIX land today. That's well north of the ADV of sub 900K, 890,000 to be precise. So well north of your average days worth of paper at 890,000 contracts out there, listeners. What was your hot option on a hot day in VIX land? It was a weird one. It was 151,000 of the D's 33 calls. Average price for these about 90 cents. Kind of a wild one. December, not usually when you want to buy a lot of upside in the vol space. So we thought we'd put it out to you folks. At Options on Twitter is where you can play along with these flash polls, listeners. We said, hey, at that price, are you a buyer, sold to you, or you want to sell them as part of a spread or buy them as part of a spread? And a buyer straight up 41.7% right now. Exactly a third, 33.3%, saying sold to you. We want to naked sell them. 16.7% want to sell them as part of a spread. 8.3% want to buy them as part of a spread. So right now, exactly half of you want to sell them or sell them as part of a spread. And of course, exactly half want to buy them or buy them as part of a spread. So our audience, once again, when it comes to VIX, exactly split. At Options, a place to go to break the tie as we keep on going out to SPY. Listeners, SPY, not a great day for the major indices after mostly melting up for the better part of the last week and change. Giving some back to the market gods today on the heels of some, like we said, bad or maybe just disturbing tech earnings out there. SPY closing today 679.83, giving off about 1.1% out there, putting up 8.43 million contracts. So kind of interesting. First half of the day, first half of the session, a banger. Second half, as you've seen lately, not really living up to the first half. 8.43 million contracts changing hands against an ADV of about 9.6 million. So coming in a little light in the second half of the day. The hot option out there today, 372,000 of these 685s. Average price for these about $1.25. So you know the drill. If you bought these and rode them through the close, maybe you're not the happiest of campers, though you did have opportunities multiple times throughout the day to get rid of them for better levels. As we keep on rolling out to the S, same deal in the S. The S giving up the ghost about 1% to the downside. 68.22 and about a third is where it went out, listeners. And the hot option out there, well, before we get there, 4.12 million contracts changing hands. So yet again, kind of light, even though the first half of the session, bit of a banger. You want to hear all that, check out the Option Block show on our network, listeners. 4.4 million is your ADV, so coming in light there. And the hot option out there on a somewhat lighter than expected day, 111,000 of these 6,800 puts. Dark side leading the dance today, listeners. Average price for these, $3.13. As we keep on rolling out to small caps, was it a banger day in small caps? The answer was it was respectable, within spitting distance of their inflated ADV, which is 1.7 million contracts, which is an astounding number to average in small caps. About 1.6 million today, so within spitting distance of that. Small caps giving up the ghost over 0.75%, about 0.8% to the dark side. Closing 244.85, listeners. And the hot option on a pretty active day out there, nearly 80,000 of the 245 puts back to the dailies expiring today. So the average price for these was 31 cents. So they went out at about 15 cents. So they were all right. If you got a little bit aggressive on the trigger finger, you might have had an opportunity to get rid of them. As we keep on rolling out to the Qs, listeners. What was the hot option in the Qs? And indeed, was it a hot day out there in the Qs, listeners? The answer was, yeah, Qs giving up the ghost to tech, wearing it today, off about 1.5% in the Qs. Closing 626.05, listeners. Putting up about 4.6 million against an ADV of 4.85 million. So slightly light, even at that aggressive movement day, listeners. And the hot option on a decently active day, 152,000 of the 630 puts. Average price for these about 2.25. So these are looking pretty good through the end of the session, listeners. In the meantime, were single name equity options looking good today? The answer was, they started off the day pretty hot. We were looking pretty good. Nearly 500,000 contracts to break into the top 10 through the first half of the session. And then, once again, second half failing to deliver, only cost you 675,000 contracts on a very active day to break into the top 10 today. That's kind of interesting. Gets us to our old pal Chipotle, listeners. Chipotle closing $32.53, getting taken to the woodshed today, off 7.25 or about 18%, listeners. So they came for Chipotle today. Obviously, the earnings not exactly tasty out there, pun intended, in Chipotle land. The hot option on a pretty hot day in Chipotle, 48,000 of the 37.5 puts. So that's an interesting strike. But then again, these are not expiring today or even in November. These are the Dees 37.5 puts. Average price for these, 5.25. These puts went out worth intrinsically about exactly $5. So that 5.25 looking pretty decent right now. Wild stuff out here in Chipotle. Deep in the money Dees puts to kick us off at number 10. Kind of a wild start as we keep on rolling to number 9. A frequent offender. It's our old pal Palantir. Also giving some back to the market gods today. Off 4.25 or a little over 2%. Closing 194.55. 690,000 contracts on the tape for them. And the hot option, 82,000 of the par calls. They're still tilting at that windmill. The 200 calls expiring tomorrow. Halloween, average price $1.71. Right now, those are looking pretty spooky if you bought them. So you're hoping for an aggressive rally to end the week as we keep on rolling out to the monster, aka strategy, MSTR. Another one giving back to the market gods today, closing 254.57, off nearly $21 or about 7.5%, putting up 703,000 contracts for the number 8 spot. The hot option out there today, not going to the downside, back to the upside. 45,000 of the 305 calls, again expiring tomorrow. Average price for these, 27 cents. They do have earnings after the bell, so perhaps looks like we're getting a little bit of a pop after the bell. Looks like the stock has rallied up to about 267. So looking a little better. Obviously nowhere close to the 305 strike. So those have a long way to go, but we'll keep an eye on strategy. As we keep on rolling to number 7, it's our old pal Softy. Closing today, $525.82, giving off about $15.50 or nearly 3%. So Microsoft also contributing to the market gods out there today after been on quite a run for a while. It's got a little bit to give back. 876,000 contracts on the tape. For good old Softy, apparently you can't spend infinitely on AI without having some return on it. So the street getting a little bit more demanding on those AI spends. Hitting some big tech names out there today. 35,000 of the 485 calls was your hot option out there today, though. These are the Nove 485s. That's a wild one. These are obviously pretty deep in the money, so the average price for these is about $45.38. Interesting, that could be a bit of a stock substitution, listeners, in that they're taking their stock off the table. Obviously, if you hold the stock, you have $525 worth of downside, and they're swapping it for a November call. And so instead of that, you only have $45.38 worth of downside. So if you're maybe not that optimistic on the near-term prospects, but you still want to keep a little bit of upside action, the stock substitution is a good way to go. And potentially that is what we're seeing here. There is some OI on the strike, so they could be closing as well. Could just be a call that they bought and worked out pretty well. And now they're getting the heck out of Dodge. Either way, deep in the money action for Microsoft at number 7. As we keep on rolling to number 6, it's our old pal Alphabet, Class A. Closing 281.48, so bucking the trend of the tech wreck today, rallying a little over $7 or about 2.5%, putting up exactly 1 million contracts. So again, showing the different ways that the street looks at these numbers. Google apparently spending AI dollars the right way because the street likes what they're doing and they're rewarding them out there today. The hot option, 52, almost 53,000 of the par calls, the 300 calls. Average price for these, 34 cents. Now, you might say that's kind of wild, but the stock did get to about 291 briefly this morning, so maybe those look a little better at that level, obviously. If you bought those, you need Alphabet to really get out of bed tomorrow. 20 handles to the upside. Can we do it? We'll keep an eye on them, listeners, as we keep on rolling to the fruit company. Another one that the market seemed to like today heading into their earnings. They are announcing after the bell. All the news out of Apple has been good of late, so people obviously expecting another beat out there. And Apple, we'll see what we see. Either way, almost 1.25 million contracts for Apple. Closing today, 271.40, up nearly $2 or about 0.75%. The hot option in Apple today, 54, almost 55,000 of the 280s. That is a wild strike that Apple has never sniffed, but they are popping off after the bell. Let's see how the market's looking at them so far. You know what? 282 right now in the after hours, up over 10 handles. So those 280s looking a little bit better. They paid $1.58 for them, so they need Apple to stay at that level when we open tomorrow, listeners. Give them a chance to get out of them. But either way, Apple looking good in the after hours as we keep on rolling. To number 4, the Amazonians, 1.33 million contracts on the tape today. They are also popping off after the bell. Amazon closing today, 222.86, so giving back nearly $7.50 or about 3.25% to the market gods out there. The hot option, 36,000 of the 230 calls. Average price for these, nearly $6, $5.95, listeners. So those are looking like a bit of an ouchie right now, but of course they are popping off after the bell. And you know what? Not looking that bad after all, listeners. In the after hours, the stock has rallied all the way back up to $250. So rallying about $26, almost $27 in the after hours. So 230s for nearly $6. Pshaw. Those are looking great. Of course, if you bought them, you got to wait till the opening bell to sell them. So that's where some of the challenges come in. Can we hold these levels by tomorrow's open? We will find out as we keep on rolling to number 3. It's Tesla. 2.08 million contracts on the tape today. Tesla selling off $21 or about 4 2/3%, closing almost exactly at $440. And the hot option out there, the 4 halves, once again, 88,000 of those changing hands today. Average price of about $4.08. So obviously, if you're buying those, and that was opening paper, if you're buying those and you need Tesla to turn it around tomorrow, maybe today's after hours earnings can turn the market around. We shall see. As we keep on rolling to number 2, this was kind of the big loser on the day. This was Meta, 2.36 million contracts today, selling off $85 or 11.33%, closing 666.5. So going out right at the number of the beast out there, listeners. So maybe ironic given their news out there that they have been spending like crazy on AI. Maybe the street's saying, hey, dial it back a little bit, guys. 78,000 of the pars was the hot option out there today. These 700 calls, average price for these $1.42. Those are looking terrible right now. But then again, maybe if this after hours turnaround can kick in, then maybe they have a chance. The stock's up about $4 in the after hours, so getting a little bit back. Still a long way to go to climb its way back to the 700s. We shall see if that's about $1.42. That is just thrown away or not. As we keep on rolling out to number one, yeah, it's our old pal Nvidia. 3.36 million contracts on the tape for Nvidia, giving up nearly $4 today, closing right around 203. Listeners are giving up nearly 2%. So interesting. Nvidia's had quite the run of late, retreating about $10 off their all-time highs, but still on quite the run nonetheless. And the hot option on a decently active day, 307,000 of the 205 calls. Average price for these, nearly $2, about $1.92. This was opening paper. Worth noting, we did get up to about 206 and change today, so these were in the money ever so briefly. Maybe that makes that nearly $2 price a little bit more palatable. That's going to do it for us on the Hot Options Report today. We will be off tomorrow, unfortunately, for the Halloween holiday out there, so we'll see you back here on Monday, another episode of the Hot Options Report. Stay safe out there, everybody.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.